everyone, and welcome to DannieBSpeaks, the podcast. I am your host, Tahir Ali, and we are back with another episode of the podcast. It's season 2, episode 2, and we're going to jump right into it. Now, this episode I'm doing a little different. I don't really do that much on just strictly pop culture and things like that. I really don't, because it's just for me, I follow a lot of these blogs and websites and pages on Instagram and things like that, but I don't really get too invested in them. I'll just read an article, whatever, but there have been some really good ones that came out recently and some that just made me just kiki and cackle, and I wanted to talk about some of them, just have like a more lighthearted type episode. And yes, this episode is about to be as ridiculous as the title itself, but there's always a method to my madness. So sit back, relax, and let's just do this, and everyone enjoy the show. Drake, girl, Aubrey. Let me tell you something. Everyone knows that I like Drake. I shade him, and, I just think he's funny. He's like a character to me. It's just like, I like his music, don't get me wrong, but he's just funny to me. He just makes me laugh. He just does things. It just seems like he's trolling all the time. But this last story about Drake, just when I saw the title of the articles and everything of what went down, allegedly, I was like, this is Aubrey. This has his name written all over it. This is some kind of stunt that he would pull. And I'm not mad at him. I am not mad at him on this one at all because, okay, let's just get into it because, I can go on and on. But if you haven't heard, Drake recently, well, I don't know how recent it was. I shouldn't say recently, but the story's recent. But, Drake was doing his thing. He was somewhere, and he and a little female acquaintance, they got together, and, they do what, grown folks do. They got together and did the do, pretty much. So afterwards, Drake goes in and does whatever he does once he's finished handling his business. He probably goes in there and showers and falls into a puddle of baby powder because he always looks to me like he smells like baby powder. I don't know. I'm weird like that. I thought the same thing about Tony Parker back in the day, the basketball player. But anyway, I digress. So the chick who he was having relations with, which obviously most likely was a one-night stand, let's just keep it real, she was like, okay, she went into the bathroom and she saw the used condom that they used in the trash can, and girlfriend said that she's about to come up, that baby Adonis is about to have a little brother or sister walking around here, and I'm about to be the baby mama. I'm about to have a come up here. And she was going to put the condom residue, in her. Okay, so she was going to try to impregnate herself, you nasty whore. She was going to try to do that. This is so ridiculous. So she went and emptied the contents into her, and she started burning. And the reason why is because allegedly Drake put hot sauce in his condom after he took it off. And I have so many questions. And I'm just going to ask a couple because we don't have the time. For one, does hot sauce kill the sperm? I seriously don't know. I've never heard of that before, but that's one question I have. And the other one I have is, for her, you did not smell the hot sauce, because hot sauce, I don't care what brand you use. Okay. Hot sauce has a very specific smell. I love hot sauce. So when I put it on my food, even when I open the top, I can smell a little bit of the hot sauce. But when I put it on my food, I can definitely smell it. Now, I don't know how much he put in there. I don't know what's required. If it's just a drop or two, So I don't understand, but I mean, sis, I mean, that's what. And where did he get the hot sauce from? Is this something that he does all the time? And Drake, if you do, I am not mad at you because obviously this is something that needs to be done. I mean, it's unfortunate that she took it upon herself to try to go there and, then she got burned, but, it is what it is. And now girlfriend's got the nerve to be suing him. And I'm like, suing for what exactly? I mean, how do you think you're going to win with that? I don't understand. I mean, and I hate to say it, but the way the legal system is, and I mean, you're not going to win against Drake. I mean, let's just put that right there. And this is also going to tie into my next story, but you just might as well, you're wasting time, and there will be some attorney out there that's going to be trying to get clout if you do go through with the suit, if the court does decide to take it, which I don't see that happening. I see it being thrown out immediately, but if there is, I just see them just using it to make an example out of you with just what kind of fool you are. But I mean, sorry you had to get burned, girl, but some of us got to learn the hard way. I'm just saying. Now, many of you may not be too familiar with this story. It has been going around in the blogs and everything. And it involves my girl, Cardi B. Everybody knows I love Cardi B. And this part is going to basically tie into, let's see, let's talk about social media and content creators and how that a certain number of followers and sponsors and AdSense coins and things like that can make you feel that you are bigger than you truly are. Let's just focus on that when we discuss this. So, for people who don't know what's going on, YouTuber Tasha K Cardi B is sued YouTuber Tasha K about some rumors that Tasha K put out about Cardi B. I mean, she's been doing this for a while. I mean, she's had Cardi B on her radar for a long time, and Cardi B ignored her at the beginning. See, for me, I watch YouTube. Like, I was just telling one of my friends the other day that I watch YouTube reaction channels, live videos, documentaries on there. Like, I watch YouTube basically as much as I watch like Discovery Plus and Netflix, Hulu. I watch YouTube a lot too. And sometimes I have YouTube on all day because I could just sit here and just catch up on videos on my playlist that I miss because, so many people I'm subscribed to are uploading throughout the day. But Tasha K, she's a very popular YouTuber in the black entertainment gossip sector. I guess that's what you could call the part that she's in. And she has, I'm sure she has close to 1 million followers. I'm not sure if she has 1 million. I don't know exactly how many followers she has. I'm not subscribed to her channel anymore. This isn't the reason why I unsubscribed from her. It was a while ago, even before she started going at it with Cardi B. I unsubscribed from Tasha K because she started doing things that I just did not like. Like, I like mess, I like watching mess and hearing about mess and things like that. I don't like it in my life, but I shouldn't say I like it. I like it. We're not going to try to cutesy it up. But she's one of those type of messy bloggers. Let's just put it like that. But she has her own show. She has her following, which are called the winos, because her shtick from the beginning was she would sit there and do her videos in her studio basement. I think it was her basement. I don't know if she still does it in her basement or she has her own studio, but wherever she was doing her videos at, but she would always have a cup of wine, a glass of wine, I should say, not a cup. That's trifling. She'd always have a glass of wine while she was doing it. So her fan base became the winos. So she's pretty big. Tasha K is pretty big. And if you follow those sectors, if you're into YouTube and things like that, you know who Tasha K is. Okay. So what pushed Cardi to the limit basically was, now I don't know all the particulars because I really didn't follow it like I should have, basically what pushed Cardi to the limit to sue her was Tasha K kept putting out the story that Cardi B had sexually transmitted diseases and all these other things. I don't think it was necessarily this accusation that took her over the edge. It was a buildup, because as I mentioned, Tasha K had her eyes set on Cardi B. She had the trigger on her, and she was just firing away. And Cardi was like, okay, girl, that's enough, So Cardi ended up suing her. And Tasha K was so arrogant throughout this whole thing, which I know she was scared. I'm pretty sure she was scared, because now you're in the big leagues. Okay, you think that you're big because you're a big YouTuber. You're not as big as Cardi B. Let's just put that out there. I mean, Cardi B is a worldwide famous recording artist. Okay, she is signed to a record label. She is an asset to her record label. She is an asset to the business that she is in. You're not. Okay, I mean, let's just put it like that. Tasha K is not. For you to keep coming after this woman just because you have a vendetta against her for some reason, I don't know if she didn't want to do an interview with you, or it was something that made you just start going after Cardi B. Maybe you just don't like her personality. I don't know. Because like I said, I hadn't been following Tasha K in a while. You don't have the resources. You have money, and you have, so I'm sure you were able to get a good lawyer, whatever, or a decent enough lawyer, I should say, because it doesn't seem to be going too good for you, girl. But you were able to secure an attorney and, go head to head with Cardi B, the Cardi B. So, yeah, I mean, I get it. You were able to do that. Okay. I just don't understand what made Tasha K think that she could stand up to Cardi B in court. Now, I'm not saying that just because someone is more famous and has more resources and things like that, that they can't be wrong and that they can't, lose in court or, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is what this is all about is bull, and you knew it was bull. For you to keep coming after her, and it wasn't just this situation. The courts and everyone knew about the history. So they're looking at all that too. And there was no way that you were going to come out of this on top. There was no way. From what I'm understanding, the things that I've been reading about this case is that I keep jumping the gun. Tasha K is losing bad. Let's just put it like that. Tasha K is not doing well in court. Some people are saying that they're trying to question why she got a white attorney. She has a white woman as an attorney. I don't think that matters. I don't care what color you are. If you can defend me and represent me, I don't care. When it comes to something like this, when it comes to my livelihood, my reputation, I guess we can question why she didn't, but, I don't think that matters, especially with what you were going up against. But just the other day, not only about Cardi B, but Tasha K is now being accused of recording Lovely T, who is another popular YouTuber that is in the same exact sector as Tasha K. And of course, they've had beef. It's a pissing contest between the both of them, basically. And I think Lovely T may be a little bigger than Tasha K, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, so she was accused of recording her. And I don't know if Lovely T is in Atlanta too, but Tasha K is. And whatever, it was illegal. I don't know if it was a state thing or whatever. I don't know how that works because I don't do things like that. But yeah, so that was one thing. And she has also seemed to have turned on her husband in court multiple times. Like, not necessarily, well, yeah, I guess you could say turn on him, but I guess the term that I should use is she's thrown him under the bus. Like basically saying that, it wasn't her that, wanted to do this. It was him, and he found this information and, just like really trying to take everything off of her. And it's really sad. Some people are saying that this might actually take her down. in this business in content creation, and I mean, I'm very small, very minuscule. I do a lot of things behind the scenes, but I see a lot of things too. And people can do some of the worst stuff, the worst things, and still come out like nothing happened. But I think this one is going to take a huge chunk out of Tasha K. I do. I really do. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. It's going to be something. So we're going to see how this plays out. I don't know, but Tasha's not looking good for you, girl. You're going against Cardi. It ain't looking good. So speaking of Cardi B, I love Cardi B. I have followed Cardi B even before she was on Love and Hip Hop New York. And just since then, I have followed her career. And I mean, you just can't help but love Cardi B. I mean, just her personality, and I mean, she's everything to me. Her and Megan Thee Stallion can do no wrong in my eyes. I'm just saying. But anyway, so Cardi B has taken it upon herself to pay for the funerals of those that were killed in the Bronx apartment fire a couple weeks ago. Of course, Cardi, she's from the Bronx, and she just said it really hit close to home. And I mean, just amazing. Just that really just with the other stuff that she's going through with the Tasha K situation. And just for her to still, just be like, I'm doing this for my people. And that's that. That's just amazing. I mean, I love it. I love it. So shout out to her for that. Let's see. In other news, Kandi Burruss and her husband, Todd. Of course, everybody knows who Kandi is from Escape. Songwriter extraordinaire. Real Housewives of Atlanta. Just, all that. Entrepreneur. She and her husband, Todd, and their friends, they're getting another Bravo spinoff, and this one's going to be called Kandi and the Gang. I mean, I don't watch these shows anymore. The only Housewives franchise that I watch is Potomac. That's the only one that I watch now. I don't watch any of the other ones. And right now, Potomac isn't getting on my nerves. But did we really need this spinoff? Kandi and the Gang. I mean, I'm bored already, so let's move on. R. Kelly's lawyers are requesting to be removed from his Chicago case, and I mean, they're over it completely. Just obviously they are over it. I mean, they have to know what it is. He's more guilty in Chicago than in New York, so yeah, they're wanting to be removed. Yeah, so that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, to see, I mean, some attorney will take up his case, of course. I mean, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. We'll see if they're even able to be removed. I'm sure they are. I mean, I don't understand how that legal process goes, but yeah, so we'll see how that goes. As much as it pains me, we have to talk about the Kardashians and this whole love triangle that's really not a triangle because Kim is done and Kanye's still holding on. I mean, he's just got like a lot of mess going on. I mean, he's already a mess. Let's just call it what it is. I mean, Kanye got issues and he's had them for quite a while, probably longer than a lot of us have even realized. And yeah. So anyway, Kim is basically done with Kanye and he's not having it, but he's trying to pretend that he's moved on with some other white chick. I think she's an actress or a model or something. Her name is Julia Fox, and she's supposed to be all enamored with him. And she knew from the first time that they went out that, that they were soulmates and all this other nonsense. And I mean, I can't. And it looks so forced. Like he just looks so forced. And I mean, it's the weirdest thing, but he's pissed. He's pissed. I mean, just a week or so ago, he was talking about that he was going to be fighting for Kim, but now you're in love with somebody else. I mean, not saying that it can't happen, but we know it didn't. Yeah. So it's just crazy. And Kanye has supposedly bought the house across the street from where he lived with Kim, and I guess Kim still lives there with the kids. And he's saying that, which when I first heard it, I was just like, first thing I thought of course, was stalker. But then I was like, well, maybe he's doing it for the kids because they do have, 4 kids together. So it's possible that he is moving there, to be closer to his family. But I wouldn't be surprised, especially now, if Kim moves. I don't know if that'll happen. I don't know if I don't know. But he supposedly, allegedly, whatever, has purchased the house across the street from Kim, and he's going to tear it down so he can build it back up the way that he wants to. I mean, do your thing. If you're selling pretty much some ugly $400 sneakers and some torn, I'm not even going to go there. Let's just move on so I can get this crazy shit over with. Pete Davidson. So, of course, we know Pete Davidson. I like Pete Davidson. I think he's funny. He's, quirky and corny, kind of like... He just really seems likable. He really seems likable. And obviously, he's had a tough time in his life. And, I just really want to see somebody like him happy. He's just someone who I root for that is happy, that I want to be happy. And he's supposedly dating Kim Kardashian now. I mean, hey, do you, boo? So things just got real. Not only for him dating a Kardashian, but Kanye has released a snippet of a song that he is doing from his upcoming album, which of course is going to be the best album ever. That's what he's saying, of course. This is going to be his best work ever. And yeah, we've been there, done that. So anyway, he mentioned in the song that he was pretty much going to cause a lot of harm. I'm not going to say the other words, but he was pretty much going to cause a lot of harm to Pete Davidson, basically because he's with Kim now. And Pete is like, I don't do this. This ain't my get down right here. So I'm hiring security and we're just going to have them handle all of that. And I say this to say Kanye's crazy. And I hate to use the word crazy because obviously he has some mental issues. Okay, I take it back. No, I don't. But let's just say that Kanye gets pissed enough. I don't see Kanye doing anything. I really don't. I think Kanye's just one of those people that's just all talk. But then again, with people who are a little off kilter, you never know. So it's just, we'll see how that plays out. We'll see if Kim and Pete last and if it becomes too much. But I mean, it's a weird pair. But I mean, first of all, because Pete isn't black, let's just call a thing a thing. We know what Kim likes. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting to see how all this plays out between the house and Kanye's new relationship with his soulmate and Kim and Pete. We'll just see how, whatever. Oh, yeah. And lastly, about this Kim Kardashian, Kanye West nonsense. So he, of course, went to social media and did a video saying that he wasn't invited to their daughter Chicago's birthday party. And of course, the Kardashians go into, their PR spin and everything like that. And they say that they never really addressed that Kanye wasn't invited, which we don't know if that's true or not because he did end up showing up, but we'll get to that in a second. So they're saying, the Kardashians are saying, mainly Chris is saying that Kanye wanted to have a separate party. Like he didn't want to do a party with them, with both families together. And, some people were like, well, I get it because they're going through a divorce, but still, I don't get it because it's just like, let's just be civil for the kids. They're going through this, and they're very young still. I mean, so messy situation, of course. It involves the Kardashians. It involves Kanye. So there's that. But they're saying that that's not what happened, that he wanted a separate party. But I didn't see where they didn't address that he wasn't invited. So I don't know whether to take Kanye's word or Chris's word, because we know that's where that came from. It's just a mess all around. And I honestly, I don't believe either one of them. I think that it was just the whole thing just for attention on both sides to make the other look bad. And I do say this to Kim and the Kardashian family, that if you didn't invite Kanye just because he wanted to have another party and you just say, well, we're not going to invite him, then y'all are trash, which y'all are already trash, but you're really trash. So that's how I feel about that right there. And he did end up getting invited or coming to the party, because of course there were pictures of him there and just having a good old time, which he should with his children. That definitely is what it's all about. I mean, I would hope so. Yeah, so there's that. But I guess Travis Porter, I believe he's the one that gave him the information of where the party was. And I'm like, oh, if that is true and he wasn't invited, Travis, you're a brave one, because you're already, I'm sure, on thin ice with all the drama you've caused recently. So, yeah, there's that. Don't get used to it, because I won't be talking about these trash bags too often. But that was just a lot going on with them, and I had to just talk about it. Let's talk about these damn manatees. I mean, people are wearing me out. I mean, I've seen professional, quote unquote, professional gossip blogs and people who do gossip and stuff on YouTube and things like that, who fact check everything. They are leaving some details out about these manatees. So if you haven't heard, the big story is that the Columbus Zoo, which is my hometown zoo that I actually enjoy going to. I haven't been in a few years, but I do like going to the zoo. We have a very nice zoo here. I've always liked to go, even though I never really was. I'm more of an animal person now that I'm older, but back in the day, I wasn't really an animal person. You know what I mean? That's besides the point. Let's just get on to the story. Sorry, I can ramble. But anyway, so what the gossip blogs are saying is that the Columbus Zoo has named a manatee after Lizzo. That's just where it stops. Okay, I haven't heard or seen written why they named the manatee after Lizzo, if there was a reason behind it or whatever. And were there other manatees? So let's get into it. So 4 rescued manatees, not just one, but 4, were transported from SeaWorld's Orlando Rescue and Rehabilitation Center, and they were brought to the Columbus Zoo. And let me just sidebar real quick. If you haven't, at first I was just like, okay, what is the big thing about these manatees? I mean, they're just these huge ocean animals, sea creatures, whatever you want to call them. I don't know. And they're mammals, so, But they just float around. I mean, they're just huge. They just float around. They just eat lettuce all day. I mean, I was just like, what is so enamoring? Is that the right word? Well, anyway, what is so special about these creatures, these animals? When I actually, first time I went there to go see them, I couldn't stop watching. I was just like, they really don't do nothing, but this is so cool and so relaxing. And they were just so chill. So, I mean, I understand now. I get it. But not saying that I'm going to, go up there just to see these manatees or anything like that. But this is what really happened. So they rescued these 4 manatees, and one of them, yes, is named Lizzo. Okay, and from what I'm understanding, from what I read in the article, is that, they wanted to give them some flavor. I don't know if it was just they wanted to have a pop culture feel to them or whatever. I don't know exactly why, but they wanted them to have some cool names. That's basically what it came down to. And the trainers, they were all fans of these 4 people. That's why they named them after them. Yes, as I mentioned, one is named Lizzo, but there's also another one named Mary Kate, another one named Ashley, which of course is named after Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen, the twins. And there's also another one named Cardi T, which is, of course, a takeoff. But anyway, of Cardi B. So people are just focusing on the one named Lizzo, of course, because manatees are big and Lizzo gets a lot of crap about being a big, proud woman. So there's that. I mean, I've seen people with these gossip blogs and things like that with just saying that zoo names Manatee after Lizzo. And one even said like the zoo named the manatee after Lizzo and how shady it is and everything like that. It obviously wasn't about her size or nothing like that, because if that's the case, I mean, you got Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen who are about 50 pounds soaking wet apiece. So, I mean, there's that. But anyway, that's what that's about. It was funny to me, but whatever. So that's the story about the manatees and Lizzo. And it wasn't even necessarily just about her. The gossip blogs just want to be messy and made it about that. Now, this stuff going on with Wendy Williams is really sad. I wanted to do a whole episode dedicated to this topic, but I don't know if I could fill a whole episode talking about what all's going on, because it's really tragic what's going on with Wendy, regardless if we know exactly what's going on. But at the end of the day, the career that she has built could just be crumbling. I mean, I think it is. And the sad thing about it, where you could see, is career-wise, I should say, the sad thing about it, you see with the different guest hosts that she has on her show, more people are watching, myself included. Like, I never really got into TV Wendy. I liked Radio Wendy, and I started listening to Radio Wendy when I was in New York. Also, she was still on the radio when internet radio became popular, where you could listen to, where you could stream, you could go to different websites that they had, or you could go to that actual radio station's website and stream their shows live. So that was like, I mean, just remember the job I had at the time when she was still on the radio. I would get off pretty early because I would go in very early, similar to the job I have now, but sometimes I would go in even earlier. I just remember listening to her radio show, and I would never be able to listen to the whole thing, and it would piss me off because, of course, then we didn't have, like the cell phones that we had at the time, they didn't have internet. So there was no way that I could listen to it. I would always miss the last hour and a half, 2 hours of her show. But I would get enough, because usually she would do a lot of the good stuff at the beginning, like the gossip part and everything. And usually the other part was where she would just have the celebrities on, or the call-ins, things like that. So I would catch some of that, but whatever, that's neither here nor there. So, I've been up on Wendy for a long time. And as I mentioned, I never really got into TV Wendy, because as messy as she still was, there was nothing like Radio Wendy. I mean, you could say what you want to about Wendy Williams, and I know I give Wendy Williams the blues, love shading her and everything like that. And it's so easy to shade people who do it to other people. That's one of the things about shade. It's just like it's a cat and mouse game, pretty much. I mean, that's just what it is. But I've always respected Wendy Williams, especially someone who was into radio, and who actually did a broadcasting apprenticeship and worked at a radio station. And I was never trying to be like a Wendy Williams or nothing like that. But seeing her do what she did, and being one of the first Black women to do what she did, not be in radio, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, she was the first, not only Black, but Black woman shock jock. No one was doing what Wendy was doing, in our culture. Let's just put it like that. So she has a place in history, regardless if people like her or not. I mean, I still listen. I downloaded the interview that she did with Whitney Houston on her radio show, which is a classic. If you have never heard it, do yourself a favor, YouTube it, Whitney Houston on Wendy Williams' radio show or whatever. And trust me, if you've never heard it, oh my goodness, people weren't lying. If you ever heard anybody talk about it, bring it up or anything like that, it's gold. But anyway, what's going on with her now is really sad. And so many people are saying this is her karma for what she's done to people and things like that. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just Wendy's health. Her health is in question right now. We don't know exactly what's going on. There have been so many rumors. I mean, like from her, the early stages of dementia to she relapsed on drugs and alcohol. I mean, they said like in meetings that she was getting naked and, someone accused her of actually masturbating in a meeting or getting ready to or something like that. I mean, it's just been some crazy stuff. Her brother, who she's not even close to, but, maybe what's going, you never know. I mean, I know their mother passed away and maybe they got closer or whatever, or what is going on. He said that what is being reported isn't the truth, that she's doing fine, which obviously she's not. And then her son even did like a Twitter post or something like that, basically saying that what you're hearing is not true and, basically saying the same thing. But of course, he said it like in a more juvenile way or whatever and basically laughing and, at people. But I think there's a lot of tears behind that laugh, obviously, especially when it was reported that not long before that, her son, Kevin Jr., was quoted as saying he was giving her an ultimatum to get herself together or he's going to be out of her life. We don't know what's true. That's something that allegedly happened. So there's so much going on and we don't know. And we're really, when it comes to stuff like this, you want to know and you feel like as a fan that or as a viewer that you're obligated to know, but you're not, because this is obviously something serious that's going on with her. And regardless of what people, how they view her, what they think, like, is this her karma or whatever, the views for her show have increased. And I'm one of those viewers because, as I mentioned, I wasn't really a huge fan of the TV show. I would watch it every now and then, and I would mainly watch it on her YouTube page. And I never got into it. And the guest hosts that she's been having on there, I mean, Sherry Shepherd is good. And then she's had Leah Remini and Michelle Visage on there together. And I mean, they've been amazing. I like both of them. But my two favorite are Kim Whitley and Finesse Mitchell. I like those two together. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, before Nick Cannon got his show, they were saying that he was going to replace Wendy. It doesn't matter who you are. You're in the entertainment business, in the workforce, period. You are expendable. I do wish her the best. I wish her family the best. I know she's been going through a lot between her very public breakup to her health issues, because I think she has Crohn's disease or something like that. Don't quote me, but I think it is Crohn's disease. And also, the death of her mother. So there's been a lot going on, and it's a lot for people to handle on top of being in this business. I mean, she's done things that just make people just look at her like, well, I really don't feel that bad for her or whatever, but she's still a human being at the end of the day. And I don't know. It's a difficult situation to think about, period. And finally, so 50 Cent has a new show. And, 50, okay. Y'all probably going to be like, do you like anybody? But, celebrities get on my nerves. But, 50 Cent, he's just a troll. He's a troll, but he's funny. Even though things that he says that just like kind of rub me the wrong way, I still kind of may chuckle a little bit because it's just so ignorant and just so, I don't know. I'm trash. But anyway, he has another show coming out. I mean, I love his shows. I'm not going to lie. I like his shows better than his music. Let's just keep it real. Or at least his music before he became mainstream. Let's just, say what it is. I guess it's going to be a series, and it's going to go into, you know what? Let's just quit being ghetto and let's stop being lazy and let me pull up the information. Okay, so it says 50 Cent is producing a show called Hip Hop Homicides, and it's going to look into unsolved murders in the rap community. And I'm really excited about this. I have another podcast, DannieBSpeaks presents, not another true crime podcast. I love talking about, or researching, I should say too, about unsolved murders and things like that. I truly miss my calling. And I know a lot of people who are fans of true crime say that, but I really feel like I should have been in that type of like a investigator or something like that. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. spoiler alert, which really isn't a spoiler alert because I haven't done anything yet, but I am looking into a lot of these. Like, I was really looked at a couple, and then I was like, I wonder, like, has anyone solved this one, or what happened to this rapper, what happened to their case or whatever, so, but the list of hip hop murder musicians that I found is crazy. I mean, it's more, I know there's more than that's on here, but it goes from Scott LaRock in 1987 to, I don't even know who that is, Drake Yo the Ruler. I never heard of him before, but he just passed away. He was just, he was stabbed to death on December 19th, but of 2021. So that's crazy. But it has King Von, it has Pop Smoke, Young Dolph, of course. Those are some rappers that we just lost. There's plenty more on here too. And let's see who else. They got Proof on here from D12. Magnolia Shorty, of course, can't forget her. Soulja Slim, Mac Dre. Oh, I used to love some Mac Dre. That's when I really thought I was on somebody's block, let me tell you. And of course, they have Tupac and Biggie and Freaky Tah, Big L, Jam Master Jay. So, and I don't know if he's going to be examining this list specifically. I just found this randomly, like when I was doing my research for murdered hip hop artists. And I'm going to be tuned in, of course, as I am, like, to Power and things like that. But, 50's doing his thing. I think he's found his niche with these shows and things like that. And some people say it's his way to get away with snitching and stuff like that. But it is what it is. Hopefully these will help solve some of these crimes when things like this happen. And then again, these are, of course, Black people who were in the hip hop community. So be on the lookout for that. Another true crime type deal thing. And I'm here for it. Thank you all for tuning in to DannieBSpeaks, the podcast, and spending a little time with me. This podcast, of course, is based more on my website, DannieBSpeaks.com, where I post about any and everything on there. I also have another podcast, which is DannieBSpeaks Presents Not Another True Crime Podcast, where, of course, I discuss one of my favorite things, which is true crime. And you can listen to it and this podcast on my website. Again, that is DannieBSpeaks.com. You can also listen to them at Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Amazon Podcast, Audible, and my YouTube page, which is DannieBSpeaks. And on there, I have re-uploaded all of my old podcasts, so you can enjoy those. Also on there, you can enjoy nostalgic videos, and trust me, music mashups and other original content will be coming soon. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Apple Music at DannieBSpeaks. And on Apple Music, if you love music like I do, you'd want to follow that page because that's where I upload playlists that I make on there and on Tidal. And of course, again, that's at DannieBSpeaks. If you want to reach out to me for any business inquiries, such as promoting your business, product, etc. on my page or website. If you want to discuss collaborating with me, please contact me at DannieBSpeaks@gmail.com. And speaking of collaborations, I have another podcast currently in the works, and I know you all are going to love it. So be on the lookout for that. I am still working on my merch line. I am designing everything myself, and I am in no way a designer or an artist, nothing like that. So this merch will just be me. It'll just be basically my aesthetic, things like that. So come on, big words. But anyway, I'm excited about it. So, this is something that I've been working on for years, and I will definitely be releasing it this year. I can't give an exact date yet because a lot goes into it, but that will be coming. I am working on my short stories, and those will be coming to my website. I'm working on one right now. Hopefully it will be released by Valentine's Day. So, I got a lot going on, trust me. My mind runs 1,000 miles per hour, and it is really hard for me to focus on just one thing. But I am truly working on all of this stuff. I bought a separate planner so that I can have one for personal, and then I bought a separate one for my business. Or should I say my LLC, because yes, she is a limited liability company, so that is DannieBSpeaks LLC, just in case you didn't know. But anyway, as always, I truly do appreciate you all. Be sure to continue to support or start supporting the DannieBSpeaks brand. It would be so greatly appreciated. A follow, a share, word of mouth, that can go a long way. It really can. So until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Be safe out there, mask up, drink water, all of that great stuff. And I will catch you all on the next one. Peace.